It's not so much the engine that they changed here. This thing has such fuel needs, they basically grafted on another fuel delivery system to meet the fuel needs of the, oh my God, 1,064 horsepower. I'm willing to bet money that you've seen at least 50 videos waxing on poetically about an LT7 5.5-liter twin-turbocharged V8 dry sump lubrication flat plane crank 1,064 horsepower. Now, as wonderful as all that is, and believe me, even as a Porsche guy, I can appreciate that, it does nothing to answer the question, what is the point of the ZR1? A better, view to answer that question, at least partially answer that question, is to look at the journey this and its competitors have traveled over 35 years since the C4's introduction. And there you look back at the C4, that was a measly 375 horsepower. Sounds ridiculous today, but that was otherworldly back then. And it was even more interesting because it was kind of like a science experiment between General Motors, Lotus, and a company that powers boats. But in the 35 years since then, this has increased in output 184%. Now, while you're picking yourself up off the floor, the Porsche, they didn't do so well. The Porsche only increased its output 122%. You see, that's kind of what Porsche does. They don't change anything, they just refine things. Then there is Ferrari. They increased close to the Corvette, but it's still lower, 177%. Now, put all that aside, because those are numbers that kind of means nothing until you look at the science, how they arrived at it. You look at the Porsche, we already said they didn't change anything. It's a flat six, they put it in the wrong place, and for some reason, it works. It works to the point where most CEOs, chief designers, chief engineers of every other car company in the world, they make cars like this, pay their taxes on their salary, and then they go and give that money to Zuffenhausen and they buy a 911. No joke. Then there's Ferrari. They probably changed the most. They went from, oh my God, we need a V8, to let's go into hybridization. And what's fascinating about that hybridization, they went to Oxford. There really was a graduate student that worked on a thesis to create electric motors that are literally this thick. The equivalent of a book written by Peter Brock about designing the Stingray and a practical review to Germany. The Ferrari has 3 of those, and that's what brings it to over 800 horsepower. And fascinating twist, AMG now owns that company. Then we go back to this. Did they do hybridization? Did they do the same thing over and over again? Actually, no. It's not so much the engine that they changed here. That's kind of a lump. Although it's a pretty lump because they paint it in this wonderful blue. What's fascinating here is all the technology they changed to support it. For example, this thing has such fuel needs, they basically grafted on another fuel delivery system to meet the fuel needs of the, oh my God, 1,064 horsepower. Then, if that were not enough, and this, a little bit behind the scenes here, my cameraman and I, Tony, when this thing landed, we geeked out big time about it. And we look in the frunk and what do you use the frunk for? And we're thinking you're going to store your New Balance in there. Apparently not. You can't store anything in there because there's ducting to cool the car and do all this active aero kind of stuff. But the most fascinating part about it, there is a radiator in there that is the size of a plate glass window from a historic Victorian house in San Francisco. If you enjoyed this content, please like the video and consider subscribing to see even more content like this. And to watch the full version of this episode, search MotoManTV Cars on YouTube or click the link in the video description below. We have all new episodes each Saturday. Thanks for watching.